In Berlin, Germany, huge crowds took to the street to defy the government and speak out and take a stand against the over-the-top coronavirus restrictions. Thousands march against the coronavirus restrictions in Berlin, Germany. They chanted, "We're here and we're loud because we're being robbed of our freedom." Protesters who came from across the country held up signs such as, "Corona, false alarm. We are being forced to wear a muzzle. Natural defense instead of vaccination. We are the second wave." So here are some clips from that. So this next protest is outside of the BBC. I'm presuming in the UK. Remember, the BBC told us before Building 7 fell on 9/11, completely symmetrically and into its own footprint at near freefall speed. A huge anomaly that's often overlooked that day, yet the BBC reported on it before it happened, as if it had already happened. So I'll play that clip first.
Now, more on the latest building collapse in New York. You might have heard a few moments ago I was talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing, and indeed it has. It seems that this was not a result of a new attack. It was because the building had been weakened during this morning's attacks. We'll probably find out more now about that from our correspondent, Jane Stanley. Jane, what more can you tell us about the Salomon Brothers building and its collapse?
Well, only really what you already know. Details are very, very sketchy. As you can see behind me, the trade center appears to be still burning. We see these huge clouds of smoke and ash, and we know that behind that there's an empty piece of what was a very familiar New York skyline, a symbol of the financial prosperity of this city, but completely disappeared now, and New York is still unable to take on board what has happened to them today.
Presumably there were very few people in the Salomon building when it collapsed. I mean, there were, I suppose, fears of possible further collapses around the area.
That's what you would hope, because they don't really know where to turn. That's the very sad thing. I think there's going to be a lot of very, very traumatized people that has hit them very, very hard.
Jane, I think many of us, when we heard the news, perhaps on the radio earlier today, were completely flabbergasted by it and just couldn't comprehend it. I mean, it almost sounded too far-fetched. I was wondering what it's felt like for you being in Manhattan. Well, unfortunately, I think we've lost the line with Jane Stanley in Manhattan.
Now, here we're going to show you a videotape of the collapse itself. Describe that. Now we go to videotape the collapse of this building. Amazing, incredible picture word.
Too far-fetched.
For the third time today, it's reminiscent of those pictures we've all seen too much on television before, when a building was deliberately destroyed by well-placed dynamite to knock it down.
So pretty remarkable, right? So I always have to point that out about the BBC. Now, outside of the BBC, people had a big protest where they chanted, "Hands off our children," and "No more lies."
Following the oath we took as police officers, as public servants. You're meant to serve the people. You're meant to protect us. Police are...
And there's also a very creepy statue that I think they're protesting as well. And I love the sign the little girl has that says, fear-based mind control. So shout out to all those people, not the BBC, but the real people, the genuine folk out there. And finally, this one is maybe my favorite from a day or two ago. This was outside of a CNN office in Los Angeles. A big group chanted very loudly, "Save the children." Check this out.
Save our children!